But first, back here at home, our top story. It is hard to imagine a more divisive, mean-spirited Democratic Party. In fact, their constant hysteria has long spilled over into outright violence. And to make matters worse, and we're going to look at this from a whole different perspective, their policies have put all of you at risk. This is something we have warned about over and over and over again. The number one preventable national security risk. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I pray to God I'm wrong. Have you heard those words from me? Take a look. And as I've been warning, I would say with almost 100% certainty, and again, I pray I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong. The terrorists are taking advantage of Joe's open borders, and there are terror cells likely in this country plotting, planning, scheming an attack against our homeland. And the blame for that will lie squarely on the shoulders of Joe Biden. Sadly, over the weekend, our prediction again came true. Take a look at your screen. An unvetted illegal immigrant from Egypt with extremist views, now charged with 16 counts of attempted murder after purportedly yelling "Free Palestine" while attempting to burn people alive with homemade incendiary devices. His victims, many seriously injured, were part of a group that brings awareness to Israeli hostages still being held inside of Gaza. Make no mistake, this was a terrorist attack. And this is not the big one I'm warning about. That could happen at any point, any time. They're plotting, planning, scheming. We have known terrorists in this country, murderers, rapists, known cartel members, known gang members. Joe, Kamala, Mayorkas, all let him in unvetted. And by the way, this was a deranged individual allowed into our country by Biden, Harris, Mayorkas, and then gifted a work permit after he broke our immigration laws. This is what I mean when I say Democrats have blood on their hands. All those names have blood on their hands. In fact, according to the House Homeland Security Committee, pay close attention. Biden was president, 21 to 24. There were more than 50 cases of that are related to Islamic terrorism in our country in 29 U.S. states. That did not stop Biden. That did not stop Democrats actually in charge of the swamp from keeping your borders wide open. They didn't care. We have a lot coming up tonight. Border czar Tom Homan will give his first interview on this. But this isn't just about illegal immigration. It is past time for Democrats, the media mob, legacy media mob, to come to terms with the political violence from their side of the aisle. For years, what have we all witnessed? What have we chronicled on this program? You know, selective, feigned, phony, moral outrage from Democrats and the legacy media mob. Every day, how many times did they obsess over Charlottesville? And they never put it in its proper context. They never talked about January 6th. Many of you will peacefully, patriotically march to the Capitol so your voices will be heard. They never talked to the driver of the Beast that said, no, Donald Trump never tried to commandeer the vehicle. They accused President Trump of inciting violence. Biden's DOJ treated angry parents at school board meetings like domestic terrorists. They did the same thing with traditional Catholics. They went after peaceful anti-abortion protesters. They, in their case, were locked up. Remember the elderly grandmother sentenced to years in prison? They told us that right-wing extremism was the greatest existential threat to our country. But as per usual, they were lying or delusional. In fact, the extremism has been coming from inside of their own party. And to this day, they still don't seem to care. Let's take you back, circa 2020, the summer of love, violent left-wing riots ripping across this country, killing dozens of Americans, causing billions of property damage. Oh, and by the way, cops were pelted with bricks, rocks, bottles, Molotov cocktails. 574 riots in total that we categorized as riots, and much more violence. And here's how top Democrats reacted. Kamala Harris said, the rioters, they're not going to stop. They shouldn't stop. And we're not going to stop supporting them. So beware. Take note. She said that to Stephen Colbert. And then Democrats went out and voted for her. Few Democrats had the courage to tell the truth, to condemn even the worst riots in 2020 that killed 24 Americans. That kind of political violence, all but excused, you know, from the far left, and it continued year in and year out. You have a deranged individual trying to assassinate U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh at his home. The doxing of Supreme Court justices. President Trump surviving 2 would-be assassins. Democrats openly calling for both Trump and Elon Musk to be killed. Musk's flagship company, Tesla, targeted with domestic terrorism time and time and time again. Dozens of cars, dealerships, charging stations vandalized, shot at, burned. And meanwhile, the behavior from the far left, Free Palestine crowd is even worse. Guy Benson, I think, put it best. He said if a right-wing movement had burned down a governor's mansion, murdered 2 foreign diplomats, firebombed kids and elderly people at a peaceful protest in the span of 2 weeks, what would the coverage look like? What sort of national conversation would Democrats be having? But the pro-Palestinian crowd, well, they are undeterred. And few elected Democrats have ever had the courage to speak out. They are afraid of the squad. They're afraid of their radical base. Just today, so-called pro-Palestine demonstrators storming a stage at an event with the U.S. Navy Secretary. So let me be very clear tonight. The Democratic Party will tolerate vile anti-Semitism. They will tolerate 574 riots that kill Americans, cause billions in damage, and injure thousands of cops, while feigning, selective moral outrage over one riot at a Capitol years ago, if their side can excuse it. If they can use it for political purposes. If not, if it's their side, they ignore it, they lie about it, they can lie and make it up when it's about Trump and pretend, to be outraged. But it's phony. It's fake. It is political in nature, and frankly, it's despicable. The fact that Democrats never stood for 2 moms at the joint session speech of Donald Trump that lost their children because of their open border policies. They couldn't even stand for this young man who had cancer. Apparently the cancer, we learned over the weekend, came back. Our prayers are with that young 13-year-old man. They couldn't stand for moms that lost their children. Joe Biden, Kamala, Mayorkas, they never called. Blake and Riley's family, Rachel Morin's family, Jocelyn Nungary's family, the dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of other families, victims of murder, rape, violent crimes that they caused because of their wide-open border policies with no vetting. The legacy media mob gives them cover the entire way. Axios today openly worrying that Trump would use this weekend's terror attacks to further his anti-illegal immigration agenda. No, it is we've got to vet illegals. A lot of terrorists came into this country. A lot of gang members, cartel members, violent people, murderers, rapists came into our country. And other outlets jumped through linguistic hoops trying to obscure the motives of the attacker. And remember these reports in 2020. Reporters, this is my favorite, claiming, oh, well, look at that picture right there. That report, look what it says at the bottom of that screen. Mostly peaceful protests. Look over the reporter's shoulder. Does that look peaceful to you? That's what fake news CNN told you. MSDNC said the same thing. And they wonder why the legacy media mob, state-run, is dead. This is more than just a political game. American lives are at stake. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.